Alright, so Season 3 is out. We have the Sks Backlot, and we also have the Anaya Excursion, or whatever the fuck it's called. It's another map. It's Anaya Palace. They just made it smaller. And another one that's name is evading me at the moment. Backlot is Backlot. It's the Modern Warfare 4 map remastered. There's a lot of opportunity for using a shotgun that doesn't suck. There's a lot of opportunities for using a sniper rifle. There's a lot of close quarters. You could probably just run your M4 on this map and be just fine. Because people did it back in the day and it worked back then, it'll work now. I mean, the time to kill's faster, but really, who fucking cares? So, as you can see now, I'm currently using the Renetti, which is the Beretta M9. This is probably one of the souped up versions. I wouldn't doubt if it's probably based off the A3. But, I don't know. I'll have to fact check that in a moment, and we'll get to that. But it's not bad. These little fucking things, they shoot quick. I'm playing against bots, so I can't speak to how effective they are in multiplayer, because for some reason, again, the new season came out and I can't connect to Modern Warfare, which kind of irritates me. Then we have the SKS. I hate this gun. I hate this gun in real life, so I'm already pretty biased against it in the game. It doesn't make sense to me why they would include something like the SKS, because it was made irrelevant like 2 years after it came out. Like, they needed something that would field their intermediate 7.62x39 cartridge. Okay, yay, we have the SKS. And then Kalashnikov went, hey, you know what, I'll make a better one. And then he made the AK-47, and the SKS became irrelevant. I don't understand it. I don't want it. And I think if any Tier 1 operator was told, like, hey, I'll give you an SKS for this out. Like, yeah, let's go outside the wire with an SKS. That man's going to look at you and probably stab you in your sleep. Because giving anybody the SKS is cruel and unusual punishment. Pretty sure it's a war crime, and I'm pretty sure that's punishable under the UCMJ. Not entirely sure. I'll have to fact check that as well. It's not a good gun. In-game, it's pretty decent. You can get 30-round detachable box magazines. You can get 10-round detachable box magazines that apparently make reloading go faster. I don't know. But I don't see the fucking point in using the SKS anyway. It's already out, like, it's outclassed by the FAL. And the FAL even gets a 3-round burst mod. It's a 2-round hit. It's a 1-round headshot. I mean, if you're hitting someone in the chest, it's a 2-round hit. If you're hitting them in, like, the legs, it might take 3 or 4. Beside the point. Now, you see the way he rocked that magazine in there, much like you rock in the magazine of an AK-47. You're using 30-round detachable box magazines on an SKS, and probably the most prevalent and well-known version of the SKS is the Norinco SKS. Reloading quickly with this thing requires you to have the dedication of a Tier 1 operator. It does not have the margin of error that an AK does. Because if you've got the same margin of error as an AK, yes, you have to rock the magazine in on an AK as well. But the AK they decided to make easier, because there's no fucking point in having a gun where, well, you gotta reload and it's gonna take you fucking 7 seconds to reload because you might have got the magazine wrong a little bit, which is a huge problem with the SKS. Like I said, it was made completely fucking irrelevant by the addition of the AK-47. I think it's stupid. I think adding World War II weapons, or World War II era weapons, to a game about Tier 1 fucking operators doesn't make any fucking sense. The Kar 98K at least makes sense in a contextual, story-wise basis. The SKS doesn't. Like, granted, some of those dudes were probably rocking SKSs in the real world. They weren't nearly as prevalent as the AK-47, though. And that's kind of part of the problem. You can't give me a shittier gun and then tell me, like, hey, it's entirely possible that you'll be able to pick up something better off a dead enemy combatant than this, and expect me not to. Like, that's just how it is. And I don't like this gun. No. I direct impact. Okay, apparently that's a thing. But, yeah, it's... Apparently you can direct impact people with Semtex even if they're hiding behind their riot shield. Might have to conduct more experiments on that. I don't like the SKS. For as cool as you can make this fucking thing look, it's still a bad gun. It's never going to stop being a bad gun. Especially... I mean, since everyone on the planet knows what the AK-47 is. And granted, there are still a lot of people who know what the SKS is. And they'll still take an AK-47. It's a bad gun. Stop giving me bad guns because it's a new gun. Okay? And if this thing's more powerful than the AK, I don't know, I might have to check the stats on that. I wasn't exactly paying attention when I just set up this class and just got into a game to start recording something so I could show you guys these guns. If this is more powerful than the AK, I'm going to be pissed. So, the new handgun is the Renetti, which is a souped-up Beretta M9, probably like the M9A3 or that the Commander one. I don't know. I don't like the M9 either. Not really because I dislike the 9mm cartridge. I just, like, that thing has a mile-long trigger pull in single action. I don't know. Anyway, we're gonna stop talking about it. The M9's an okay gun. I personally wouldn't buy one. That's my opinion. I like the Glock 9. I like 45s. I like 1911s. I mean, I like my H&K. That's a pretty cool fucking compensator to throw on that thing, though. But beside the point. I'm not the biggest fan of it. I know some people are, and good for them. It's a Beretta M9. Does have a pretty neat fucking slide, though. I'll give it that. And I mean, you can probably see that the burst mod. That's kind of neat. I fuck with that later. Really, the only difference you can tell is that probably the porting on the barrel. And I think the safety got replaced by a selector switch. Either way, I'm not really paying that much attention because I recorded all of this and I'm doing voiceover on all of it because I can't connect to Modern Warfare. Wow, that is the dumbest fucking thing ever. Like, why? I bet you that scope and that scope mount probably weighs more than the gun does. Yeah. Alright, so it does have a stock. It's got two stocks. Oh, okay, the second stock adds that little foregrip. Okay, that makes sense. So, I'm guessing that the burst mod and that stock option, the stasis, whatever that, I don't know, I can't read, X, basically turns it into the M93 Raffica, which is pretty neat. I mean, of course, you've got all the lightweight triggers. There's 27-round magazines. It's got all the standard type attachments and perks. Looking back on playing with it, especially on shipment, this was a fun gun to use. You go through ammo real quick, especially on, like, if you're using a Kimbo and the 3-round burst, it climbs. It climbs real hard. And just like, but it's so much fun to use. And it cruises through ammo. It's a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. I might actually run that. But let's talk about the fucking AK. Or the SKS. All personal feelings aside, actually note, that's the entire point of why I'm talking about this goddamn thing is my personal feelings. I don't like the SKS. Now, a little bit of history on the SKS. It came out in 1945. It was also designed by Kalashnikov. And it was it was designed and fielded because they needed something that would field their new intermediate cartridge. The 7.62. Well, the 3.9, but whatever. This gun has all of your standard accoutrement. There's all the different length barrels. There's different magazines. Originally, the SKS came with an internal 10-round magazine, which is shorter than the one you actually see on the gun. Once you put detachable box magazines on it, that becomes a pain in the ass. It's not fun. I've had one of these for years, and I completely and 100% understand why every pirate, every freedom fighter, every whatever ditched this thing in exchange for the AK-47. Because, I mean, yeah, if you're going to get a better gun, get a better gun. And the AK is the better gun. When you get the detachable box magazines for it, like the 30-round magazines, loading them is more of a pain in the ass, because with the standard AK, you have to rock the magazine in, which means you're like the little front lip goes in, and then you rock the magazine back and lock it into place. You have to do the same with the SKS, except there's less room for error with the SKS because there's a little lip that you have to rock the front end of a like 2 or 3 inch long steel piece into in order to get the magazine to hang on into the gun, and then you rock it in. So kind of like the AK, except bad. Now I'll stop ragging on the SKS here for a minute. In game, it's your typical battle rifle. It's your typical marksman rifle. It's your typical who gives a fuck. But it's a 1-round headshot, which, I mean, I think all the guns in this game should be a 1-round headshot, but that's entirely just me. It's a 1-round headshot, 2-round body shot. If you're missing, depending on where you're hitting them, 3 or 4 rounds, and then the person's a corpse. It fires pretty quick, but I mean, if you're not using it and playing with it the way it's meant to be used, you're going to get domed by somebody using an M13 and just wanting to pour bullets at you. So that's really all I can tell you about the SKS. I was running it against bots. It was doing pretty well, and I can tell you that is no metric for measuring how well it's actually going to do in multiplayer. But I mean, I guarantee someone's going to figure out a way to make the ADS on it lightning quick, and they're going to go around and melt people with it. It's still semi-auto, which all the SKSs pretty much were. It is what it is. So for this bit, I decided to run the Akimbo M9s. You can't run the stock, which makes it kind of look like the Raffica if you're running it Akimbo. I also realized that I forgot to put on the right laser, but I mean, the Akimbo M9s, especially with the burst, is a ton of fun. They fucking melt. The recoil on them is unwieldy as fuck, but they are fun to fucking use. And as far as I'm concerned, that's all that really matters. I don't typically care about, you know, my KD or my win-loss ratio or anything like that. I'm more interested in having fun. And with the fucking Raffica, these things are fun. You run out of ammo with them real quick. Now, I wasn't running a compensator on either of these guys, so, alright. You can probably, I mean, you can absolutely figure out a way to deal with the recoil from these. I ran them out of ammo pretty quick. And then I had to switch back to the SKS because I didn't have something that wasn't the SKS set up on this class to back me up. They're a ton of fun. I just have to get into an online lobby so I can see what the requirement for unlocking a Akimbo on them is going to be. Because on some of those guns, that was a pain in the ass. But yeah, I don't really have anything bad to say about the M9 or the Renetti or whatever you want to call it, because it's all just it's the same thing. It's all absolutely the same thing. But I mean, by far the most important part for all of this is the fact that I have fun using the M9. And that's really all that matters to me. And especially on shipment, once you get the 27-round magazines and the Akimbo unlocked and, you know, other stuff to make them less unwieldy. Ooh, I'm sorry. They're gonna fucking melt. They're gonna melt people, and it's gonna be great. I didn't really like that reload on the SKS because I'm not entirely sure you can actually do that. But yeah, it's whatever. I'm not the fucking AK guy. I'm not Forgotten Weapons, and I'm not Grantham. I'm here to have fun, and I'm here to party. So the Beretta M9, which has a 15-round capacity and a 5-inch barrel, single action, double action mode, manual decocker, the whole 9 yards. This one's slightly different, but whatever. It's still the same gun, moving swiftly along. This gun entered service in '85. Pretty sure, when it was selected to be the new sidearm of the U.S. Army, well, U.S. military forces, not just the Army. Again, everybody had their own special forces units who used what the fuck ever. I know some Marine units still used the 1911. whatever. This thing was the standard issue sidearm until like 2017 when it was replaced by the SIG P320. There are a million variants of this fucking thing. Taurus makes one. Everybody makes one. Ish. There was also a billion variants made by Beretta about this gun. I mean, there was I know a lot of people probably remember it from Modern Warfare 2, unless I'm just that much older than everyone else. There was the M93 Raffica model, which was a 3-round burst. Pretty sure there was also a full auto version, but I'll have to double check on that. Anyway, so that's been kind of a review and test and probably a lot of history and mostly me talking about the 2 new guns that were added to Modern Warfare. So if you enjoyed this and want me to do more of it, like and subscribe and do all that kind of stuff. Or, I mean, send me death threats, but as long as you watch the video and like it, I'm okay with that. I will be back later with stuff.